Hello, everyone. Glad to see you here. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, a big welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time. So, today we're going to do a reading that is really just kind of centers on a little bit on what is happening with your person. So, I got a couple of notes this morning that corresponded actually with a dream that I had. And so, I'll share with you basically that there's been kind of maybe some shifting with the divine masculine energy. And essentially, those people woke up and said, "Can you just check in? Can you check in and see kind of what is different, what's happened?" So that's what we're going to do. But because of the stories that you guys came and you brought with you, I'm also going to specifically be looking into kind of how your person is seeing this overall situation, because that's a question that has kind of overarchingly come up as a result of folks waking up and you're not all in the same time zone. So I'm in the central time zone in the US, like with Chicago, but I am not in and so when I wake up is not necessarily the same time as when everyone else wakes up. And so when I get up and I see there's already an abundance of emails in my inbox that are saying, something has happened, then I realize I need to go ahead and take a look at that, especially if I wake up and I had a dream that makes me think something has happened. And for me, it was just a weird dream, but my divine masculine doesn't show up in my dreams very often. When it happens, it's usually a cue for me to just kind of I go within, I see what's triggered, I see what needs to be worked on, and that's kind of where I go. But we're going to see what it means for you. So we're going to also check a little bit into kind of how your person is seeing the situation. So it'll be a general reading. I'm reading for the collective as always. So it's not going to resonate with everybody because it's going to resonate with folks that are part of the collective. So if it's your story, you might want to look at some of the other videos and just check them out for other messages. If it's you, maybe go ahead and subscribe. The readings are all very much connected. So we're going to start here by that question that we were just kind of talking about, that what is your person seeing and feeling in all of this? What is going on in your person's emotions with regard to this overall situation right now? And, I understand not everybody will have had a dream. Um, there's a sense of feeling like they've come into themselves a little bit. This is the King of Pentacles, and it says on the top it's a card of motivation, but it has a lot to do with not just motivation and not just being motivated, but also feeling like you're worth it, feeling like you can do it. So all right, we're going to start with that. A card of motivation, feeling like you are worth it or like they're worth it, because this is from your person's perspective. Oh, all right. So we've got the Seven of Pentacles. They're thinking about what's happened in the past. We've seen some evidence of this in the past anyway. They think about what's happening with the past. You have maybe even been thinking about some of those very specific memories that have happened in the past, maybe even memories that you try not to spend too much time on, or that if you're a couple of years into this or a few years into this, memories that don't come up for you every day. And they are creating a little bit of, you guys, this is exactly what happened to me. This is that you can use this. The same thing is happening to your person. So they're thinking about those memories, things that happened in the past, and they're looking at the places where it kind of shows that they have some sort of weakness, some sort of place where they're not able to truly master their emotions. And so feeling like you can kind of come up for air and ask that question and maybe even say, all right, where were we? There's this sense of things not feeling the same way as they felt before. So the Ten of Swords is a difficult and painful ending. I love to see this one in the reverse because it means there's been a little bit of healing, and that's the breathing room that your person has had to kind of get to a place where they're able to feel this energy. And that's maybe the shift that we felt. Let's look a little bit more deeply into it, because it doesn't have them moving forward still. Their movement forward is still inconsistent and still not a steady path. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's causing them to change their behavior significantly, but it has a lot to do with two things right off the bat. It has to do with this situation that is between the two of you that has historically felt like it wasn't very much of an option, didn't present a lot of opportunities. It was a choice that you don't actually get to make. It's like being presented with a choice in love, but one that for whatever reason you're not able to get to it and doesn't feel like a choice at all. But your person has recently laid down some sort of burden, and we saw this in the reading that just went out, I think yesterday, the one that we just had about in the energy between the two of you, your person had laid down some, but it felt like they had kind of tripped and just dropped him, and it was this disorganized way of laying it down. But it has resulted in a new freedom, okay? Not necessarily a new consistency, but a new freedom and an awareness that they may have more choices than they realize. So that was a lot. That is just going to set all these down here, and I know that this is the honorable mention where they have a choice that they need to make, and we see the evidence of that choice over here that has not felt like much of one before. And so this is saying yes, they're in that place where they have to make a decision, a little bit different than the decision that we saw in yesterday's reading, but their emotions have not really calmed down yet to the point where they can make a decision. So again, those cards don't really want to be out in the reading, but they want it to be honorable mentions. And once we get to the honorable mentions, that's if we have any, that's where I stop. So I'll go, and sometimes it's just the first card that wants to come out, and sometimes it's several that come out on the top there. Okay, so this is a different kind of emotion. This is the I'm gonna just kind of pull both of these back out. So we have sort of this desire to reach out and see you. They're remembering the last time they were in the same place with you. They're remembering something fondly about it. You might be inclined to remember these things even. It is showing those places where there's still a bit of a weakness. Um, and it's causing there to be a slower movement forward, but I think they might actually reach out. That's something that I think might happen here. That's really interesting. Definitely different from what we've been seeing before in this. So I don't know. Let's continue with this. So there's been a little bit of a shift. I get the sense if they do reach out, that healing is still not happened yet. So it's not necessarily the right time for them to be reaching out if they're hoping to have a successful reunion with you. However, it's not unheard of that you may have communication. Some of you aren't completely out of communication. So it's not unheard of that you might have some communication with your person, even when it's not time for you to really reconcile what's happening, or really to be able to get into a place where you can reunite, but that doesn't mean you can't go out for coffee or something like that. So that may be in there. Yesterday we saw a sense of a text that they were kind of inclined to send, but feeling like they couldn't send. I think maybe for a couple of you that text is going to come through. And I don't want to be that person who blows smoke and tells you things that you want to hear just because you want to hear them. But that's what the cards are saying. So I think it's going to be, there's definitely a pretty strong element of them wanting to come forward and at least have a conversation, at least be able to say something. I don't know if they're going to need to find an excuse in order to do that, or if they're going to be able to just reach out. But it looks like a few of them are going to reach out. So that's kind of exciting. I'll be interested to hear from you if they do, because I would like to hear how far along they are in their path. Because what we've seen is you may have some communications with folks, but it ends up fairly similarly to the way that it was before. So we'll kind of see, and we may dig a little bit farther into your person's emotions as we go here, because we're going to look here at what you can expect as a result of these emotions, what you can expect from them. Here we have them not being very consistent, maybe not being able to reach out, but we also see them in a very different position with regard to your relationship than maybe what they've been in the past. So that could be kind of significant as well. So let's see what this is. Oh, the Fool. All right. So this has them definitely jumping into a new beginning. But a new beginning, manifesting some sort of new beginning in the way that they're thinking about things, in the way that they're viewing this situation, possibly even, like I was saying, being able to reach out. Not everyone is going to manifest a new beginning and reach out, but it is definitely a corner that your person is in the process of turning. So this time we're not waking up and, oh my goodness, your person has turned a corner. It's like we're watching it happen. There's still that, there's this very awake sense of, here's where I am, here's where I'm not. Here are some things that I no longer feel, some pain that I no longer feel, some things that they've decided to set down that frankly open up some opportunities for them, and maybe even a possibility for them to reach out. So that's a very, it's a very springtimey sort of feel. And so if you're in the northern hemisphere, we just had the beginning of spring not long ago here, and we've been feeling it coming up, and just kind of springtimey sorts of feelings. This is one of those. And with this Fool card here, that's definitely a sense of that springtime. And it's that there's no foolishness in this Fool. This is just willingness to jump off and do something that feels very new, feels very different, and that they don't feel like they've really done before. So we've got the Nine of Swords that has come out sideways, and I'm gonna leave it sideways. And in the same color scheme, we have the Six of Swords that has come out here in the reverse. And so this is that one that came out earlier saying, hey, they're not out of the woods yet emotionally. There's still kind of a lot going on there. And with this Nine of Swords, I would say that that's still true. So the Nine of Swords is a card of not being able to sleep. You'll often see there's a bed in the background. There is a pillow over here. A lot of times in the Nine of Swords, you will see that there's an issue with anxiety and somebody being able to sleep. And so this is something that's kind of keeping them up at night, but they're getting to a place where maybe they're not being kept up at night quite as often. Things are starting to change for them. And being, yeah, they're starting to flip that card. And it's, well, you don't want it to go this way. You really want it to go more this way so that you're getting past these things. But the fact that they're starting to have a a little bit of like good days and bad days is significant, but they still haven't had this feeling of things really clearing up yet. We get that. We saw that over here as an honorable mention. They've got this decision before them, but they don't really feel like they have the clarity to make it just yet. Let's see what else. So we've got the Page of Wands. The Nine of Cups has come out here in the reverse. All right, so the Page of Wands, which is talking about the curiosity. This is a very curious page, ready to jump into something new, ready to investigate new things, very unafraid. Okay, this is a very unafraid sort of page. And yet there's this feeling of um, redefining what they're looking for in life. So the Nine of Cups is happiness. It is your wish fulfillment. It is a really wonderful, wonderful feeling, and it's a wonderful thing when you have accomplished it. So the issue is your person was going after what they thought was their happiness, but it wasn't really. Now they've found themselves in a position with you of having to redefine that, which we've seen in previous readings. We've seen an awful lot of the Nine and Ten of Cups, because the Ten of Cups, when that comes out, has to do with them figuring out how to discern that path forward when they run into something that seems like it's too good to be true. And so here they're in that kind of that stage of, I haven't decided exactly how I want to move forward yet. It does have a freeing element to it and allows them to jump into this springtime Fool energy of really being able to start something new. So that's an exciting feeling that's kind of coming from this situation and from your person. Oh, we've still got the Star. There's still a delay. So the situation between the two of you, and we've seen the Star come out in a lot of readings here lately, has to do with there being an inevitability about this situation. There's a lot of hope. There's this is like the light at the end of the tunnel that isn't the light of the train. It's the light of happiness. It's the thing that you would be moving toward, but there is a significant delay here. The thing is, you still know it's coming, and there's a feeling of knowing it's coming despite the fact that there is a bit of a delay. So this is something that materializes, maybe not quickly or consistently, but something that is going to materialize. I love seeing this. So this is the Devil card in reverse. The Devil in reverse, which is in direct. Okay, so these cards just keep coming. All right. We're going to only have these. These are the ones that want to be part of the reading right now, but we have to go through kind of this side and then we have to go through this piece over here. So we've got this situation that is relatively inevitable, but also that it has a delay. The two of you are working through some things that have you disconnecting from some things that have controlled you. In your person's case, there is family involved, or there is something that has been holding them back from this situation with you. And in some cases, it's going to be something internal that's holding them back from being able to interact properly with you, from being able to be vulnerable. But the fact that there's still so much attempt to control the situation is actually going to cause it to slip out of their hands. And so it's like holding on to it makes it fall away and makes it even harder to control. And that's a very significant thing that comes out here. So it actually slows things down. Those attempts at control are actually slowing the situation down overall. Um, okay, so that's one of the stronger messages that wants to come out here about kind of the energy that you can expect as a result of this in this situation. There's this springtime energy of new beginnings, of feeling a little bit better, but things really haven't calmed down yet. Things haven't really calmed down. There's still a delay in the two of you coming together. Your person is still figuring some things out. And the delay in the two of you coming together doesn't necessarily mean that the two of you can't be interacting, because there may be, I get the sense that some of you are going to hear from your person. That's the way this wants to go. And we're going to look a little bit more into that when we get to the extended, because I'm super curious to understand more about what this emotion is and what this kind of, I guess it's like a change that's happened within your person, but unless I'm mistaken, it's happening within you as well. So what is this that's actually kind of bringing you guys closer? In that, if you watch the videos, you'll notice that Two of Wands likes to come up all the time and talk about the difference, the distance between you, and sometimes the difference between you. So it's an age gap, or it's a religious difference, racial difference, different levels of society type of difference. It's all kinds of things that could potentially be jumping in to create this distance, but this has you coming a little bit closer to it. So that's kind of a significant thing. But any attempts to jump in there and really control it are going to create these little bits of a setback. And that's one of the things that you can expect, even though you're still going to be making progress. So it may feel a little bit challenging, because you're feeling like, hold on, I'm making some progress. Why does it still feel like it's taking so long? Well, it's both of you that have to make the progress. And there is some really beautiful energy that's coming in as you're moving toward, but you have to do your part and let go, which is that thing that came out in yesterday's reading. The letting go is the energy that you're heading toward, but that truly allows you to jump into a new journey. So that's true for both of you, and very positive, very much what's kind of been coming out in these readings. But we're going to look next at what you can be doing before we jump into that extended video to see. We're kind of dying to see a little bit more of what's happening over here with regard to your person on the emotional side. And maybe even a little bit more about what you need to know here. But let's figure out what you need to be doing first. And so this is going to be that, where should your focus be right now? That question that I just love asking. Given what we've seen in the rest of this reading, where would your focus be best? Where would you be best served? So we've got this Eight of Cups that's sort of come out sideways, gonna leave it sideways also. This is about defining your path, truly deciding what your best path forward. So the Eight of Cups has you going off in search of something. It's a quest. It can be walking away from something, and it often is if you've got energy like the Death card in there that causes you to be wrapping something up so that something, and now something has to end so that something new can begin. That is not necessarily the nature of this type of quest, but that is part of what's happening in the energy. Um, on its side here, when it comes out sideways, it has you really evaluating what your path forward is going to be. So I can feel that you've been doing that, and I know you have from the notes that you've been sending me through email or through social media. So some of you reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook. There's this feeling of almost drawing back into yourselves and feeling like that there's this, like you're almost abandoning the memory of this person or making it so they can't come back when you draw into yourself and draw that energy away. And in the way that it's actually working, you drawing your energy away will probably create more of a pull toward you than anything else. But you have to be deciding over here what you truly want to go into. That's why this Eight of Cups is sideways, because it's a matter of you can't go on the quest yet if you haven't really defined it. Otherwise it's aimless meandering, and we sometimes have that come out when the Eight of Cups is in reverse. Here, though, on its side, it's you trying to avoid aimless meandering and figuring out what actually is best for you. Going into yourself is going to be okay. This also feels like you're maybe stunting your own creativity. I think what you're doing is more giving yourself a rest. There's definitely this sense of you having gone into the hermit cave and not having come out with the solutions that you seek. So it's this feeling of still needing to get to that place. But there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of I'm not sure about the edges. I'm not sure with this lighting where where one begins and where another ends. What's that truly going to be? And so there's a lot of I'm not sure yet energy, and there's still going to be this sense of you need to go. You're going to need to go ahead and jump in. You have already set things in motion. You have already done basically what's going to take you to this place. You need to go ahead and make a decision. The decision is not always to jump off of the cliff in search of something brand new. And you're going to have a couple of false alarms with that also. It's okay because honestly, none of the experience is going to be bad for you. Anything where you jump off into something new, you're always going to have a way that you manage it. You're always going to have, and the more you have as experience in life, the more you know this to be true anyway, and you wish you had known it earlier. So for those of you who are only a couple decades in, take it from somebody who's a little bit farther in, you'll wish you had this lesson. Sometimes jumping off is just worth it anyway. And you wouldn't know, you wouldn't have the opportunity to learn those lessons without it, but not everything is worth jumping into either. So evaluate it carefully. Make sure that you're ready because you are, well, I wouldn't say be sure that you're ready. Be sure that you are being careful about where you put your energy because you only have so much to spread around. I guess I would say that. But you are ready to jump in. I don't want to say make sure you're ready because you clearly are. And that's what this other card was telling us. So we've got the Strength card, but I want to take the Ace of Wands first. There's going to be this tendency for you to want to, I guess, douse your own happiness. There's going to be this tendency that you're going to find, and it's going to be almost feeling like you want to use this advice here as an excuse. Well, she said I shouldn't jump into just everything. Yes, but don't douse your own happiness. Don't put your own torch in the water. Give yourself every opportunity. There is going to be a tendency for your fears to want to win out over your strengths, and for sure you want to be in a position where you can see that coming and allow yourself to get past it. All of this testing the water, jumping into something new, deciding which things you're going to jump into, staying in that hermit cave for a little while, going into yourself and really looking into these mysteries, that is going to help you figure out which direction you truly want to be going. It's also going to help you to find some new perspectives. The When you take a look at the end of this, and we saw this in yesterday's reading too. I can't remember. Oh no, it was the main reading. It wasn't even the extended, which by the way, that extended, you guys. Holy cannoli. Um, I don't usually plug these things. I'm not out here for the purpose of selling stuff. But that was an off the chain sort of extended. So if you haven't seen that one, you may wish to. It was, I thought, very helpful, and everything that we're doing is just a continuation of that one anyway. Not going to go as far as to say this is the extended for the extended because we're really looking into something a little bit different. But the messages they flow together very nicely. And one of the messages that came from yesterday's YouTube reading was about if you were to take a step back and look at the situation, you'd be able to see a little bit more clearly how far you've come. We see that coming out over here, but it's that path that's really going to take you there. So, with that, I think we are going to go ahead and go over to the extended now. We're going to look a little bit more deeply into what is happening with the emotions with your person. That's one of the things that we're going to look into. Maybe even a little bit more of what you need to know as we're looking into what the results are going to be, or what some of those next steps are going to look like. And we know there's jumping into that new energy, and there's this wonderful feeling, but we also see that there's a little bit of control there. And of course, we'll dig more deeply into your practical advice and what you can be doing. So hopefully, I see you there. The link is down below. Hopefully, it's as awesome as it was yesterday. And we will take it from there. But thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.